Welcome, everyone, to the 2003 APBA St. Petersburg National Championships, coming to you from beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. Hi, everyone. I'm Vince Apari on behalf of Jeff Girardi and the rest of the Freeze Frame Video Production crew. We'll have 4 different races in these championships, 2 today, 2 tomorrow. The total number of boats, some 90 competitors in all. Races 1 and 2 on this tape. And race number 1 will consist of the PX class, P1, P2, and P3. In race 2, Factory 1, P4, P5, and the 1 Design class. And the competitors in races 1 and 2 include, first off, in race number 1, in the Outlaw Performance PX, it's Bacardi Silver, Liquid Metal, and Flowmaster. Also, Callan Marine. In Outlaw Performance 1, Pacemaker, In Contempt, Agitator, Dirty Duck, White Knuckles Racing, and American Dream. In Outlaw Performance 2, Obsession, Kinetic Animation, Advanced Transmission Center, and Lucas Oil. In P3, it's Team Fortress Offshore, Team TKO, Wild Ride, Sirius, Traffic Light, and Cancun Cantina. And those are your competitors in race 1. In race 2, it's Factory 1, Screamin' Eagle, Team Levycraft, Typhoon, Velocity VR1, and Winnebago. In P4 class, Moral Hazard, Mid-America Offshore, Shogun, Simply Awesome, Zero Cavity, Sonic Racing, Wild Card, and Cast Off Racing. In P5, Not Guilty, Carrabba's Team Blythe, High Priority, and Vixen. In the 1 Design class, it's Cavallaro Motorsports, Premier Performance, American Express, White Typhoon, and Max Q Racing. And those are your competitors in races 1 and 2. Now your national point standings for the respective classes. In Factory 1, Winnebago in first place, followed by Typhoon and Screamin' Eagle. In Outlaw Performance PX class, How Sweet It Is, Bacardi Silver in second, and Liquid Metal bringing up third. In the 1 Design class, Premier Performance, American Express, and Cavallaro Motorsports. Also in P1 class, American Dream, White Knuckles Racing, and How Sweet It Is. In P2, Kinetic Animation, Obsession, and Daytona Performance Marine. In P3, Wild Ride on top, followed by Cancun Cantina and Traffic Light. In P4, Sonic Racing in first place, followed by Cast Off Racing and Just Pray Racing. And those are your national point standings for the respective classes for races 1 and 2. So here we are in St. Petersburg for the National Championships. A great place for this event. We've been here many times before. Everything is close by for the racers. Everything is local. The inspections at the Benoit Park, as well as the fueling. Great spectator viewing from the pier. The wet pits are also at the Benoit Basin, and the dry pits are at Benoit Park. Now, the APBA sponsors for these championships include GMC Vortec Engines, Mercury Racing, Formula Racing, Snap-on Talking Tools, Sunoco, Daytona Harley-Davidson, Sterling Performance, also Jewel Yacht Transport, BioClean, and many, many more. The APBA officials include Mr. Michael Allwise, special thanks to him, and also Mr. Jim Pomplin from the Stars Rescue Team and his entire rescue team, V. Kimes, the chief scorer, Paula Brew, Mike Tomlinson, chief referee, and many, many more. Those are your APBA officials responsible for making the APBA season a very successful one. Now, Freeze Frame Video Productions has 27 onboard cameras for you for this event, and they include cameras on board Obsession Racing Team, Dirty Duck, Callan Marine has a forward and a back camera. Also a camera on board 1 Design class number 12, 1 Design White Typhoon, and 1 Design class Max Q Racing. Other cameras on board Awesome, Flashwave, Addicted, Agitator, Kinetic Animation, and ATC Racing. It's had 27 onboard cameras for you for these national championships, giving you that up-close and personal look right from the racer's cockpit. Now we're going to take a look around the dry pit area, look at some of these big, beautiful machines awaiting for the beginning of race number 1. Very shortly, we will be airborne to bring you race number 1 and 2 here in St. Petersburg for the APBA St. Petersburg National Championships. All right, as you can see now, we're airborne, and there is the orange smoke signaling that we are just a few moments away from the beginning of race number 1, the PX class, also the P1, P2, P3. Race number 1. Here we are in the milling area. Boats getting ready to follow the pace boat and line up. Fairly calm waters here in St. Petersburg at the outset. We're going to go with the PX and P1 start. Some of the competitors include Pacemaker, In Contempt, Agitator, Dirty Duck, White Knuckles Racing, American Dream, that's in P1 and PX class. It's Liquid Metal, Flowmaster, and Bacardi Silver. Boats now beginning to follow the pace boat. And there is the pace boat. And right behind are the competitors lining up, spreading out, getting ready. OffshoreOnly.com pace boat. They're in the lead also. OffshoreOnly.com partially sponsoring this tape here in St. Petersburg. And they're on the parade lap now. We've got Bacardi Silver on the inside, then Agitator, American Dream, Liquid Metal. There is Bacardi Silver on the inside. And Callan and Flowmaster also in the shot coming in there on the far outside. Lots and lots of spectator boats there lining the course. You can see in the background. Callan on the inside. Flowmaster also now in the picture. Beautiful day here in St. Petersburg. Agitator, Liquid Metal, American Dream, Bacardi, Callan, Flowmaster, all in the mix there in this PX and P1 start. In Contempt on the far outside. Swinging to the left, going around the turn on the parade lap. Everybody spreading out now, waiting for the green here in St. Petersburg. And we have a green flag now here at the APBA St. Petersburg National Championships. Callan Marine shot out of a cannon, hosing down Agitator right there. Callan Marine 5,000 horsepower turbine engines. Agitator getting the brunt of that hosing down. Other boats coming up. We got In Contempt, American Dream, White Knuckles, and Dirty Duck. And there they are. We're off to a great start here in St. Petersburg. Callan Marine, your leader on the inside. There is Agitator coming up. In Contempt, also Bacardi Silver on the outside. Agitator, it's a skater. Charles Amon is the driver. Robert McNeil, the throttle man. Charles Amon, also the owner of Agitator. P132, getting hosed down there in the early moments of this race. First national race in the APBA for Agitator. A legendary boat, many checkered flags. Lots of history aboard Agitator. Many checkered flags, as we said, some 17 years of history. This boat was restored for this race. Going around the turn, there is the pier, which spectators have a great view of this race. Some of the sponsors for Agitator include White Oak Auto and Marine, CNC Motorsports, and Preferred Power Marine out of Fairfield, Ohio. In Contempt on the right, Agitator on the left. Off to a great start in race number 1 here at the St. Petersburg National Championships, there is Agitator with Charles Amon and Robert McNeil. Charles from Ohio, Cincinnati. Robert from Fairfield, Ohio. In contempt there on the right side. In contempt going by. In contempt, we got Paul Whittier, the driver, and Thomas Stegliano is the throttle man on board in contempt, P160. Charles Amon and Robert McNeil on Agitator battle here in the early moments of this race. P1 class. And Freeze Frame Video Productions would like to welcome the Agitator Racing Team to the national circuit of the APBA. First in class, Agitator. On board Cal Marine now at the start of the race at the green. There's the pace boat on the left side. Offshoreonly.com. And there's the green, and you can hear those engines revving up. 5,000 horsepower turbines. This boat is capable of 200 miles per hour. David Callan and John Kosker on board. Callan Marine. On board Agitator now. They're going to get hosed down now by Cal Marine. Let's watch. And now they're getting it. They're getting it good. Charles Amon and Robert McNeil on board Agitator getting hosed down by Cal Marine at the start of the race. Bacardi Silver on the left side of your screen. Our helicopter on the right side. Russell Kilpatrick, our helicopter pilot. Charles Amon and Robert McNeil on board Agitator. It's a skater. As we said before, this is a 17-year-old boat, and it is a legend. Many checkered flags to its credit, and they restored it for this race in new race condition. All right, back to our helicopter shot. Agitator and In Contempt battling it out here in P1. In Contempt with an edge. Around the turn. And we're going to go with In Contempt right now. It's a skater, 36-footer with powered by 525 Mercuries. Thomas Stegliano is the driver. Paul Whittier is the throttle man. Currently in second place in the national point standings. Took a second in Fort Lauderdale and a second in Sarasota. Special thanks to John Vanderstein from Offshore Concepts. Other competitors in P1 class include Pacemaker, Agitator, we saw a little while ago, Dirty Duck, White Knuckles Racing, and American Dream. Right now we're watching In Contempt. In first place. Thomas Stagliano, the driver, and Paul Whittier, the throttle man, on board In Contempt, 36-foot skater, Mercury powered. Around the turn, In Contempt. And there's American Dream coming up with Bill Beeben and Michael Jordan. It's an MTI. Dirty Duck and Agitator. Dirty Duck on the inside, Agitator on the outside. As they battle in P1. We're going to go with Dirty Duck now. Dirty Duck, it's an MTI. And we've got Mr. Jerry Chastelot. He is the driver, and Joey Gratton is the throttle man, powered by two 525 Mercuries. Currently in fourth place in the national point standings. Took a fourth in Fort Lauderdale, fourth in Sarasota. Some sponsors include Benchcraft, Lane, Serta, Mercury, Offshore Solutions, Perkins, Herring Crops, and Castrol. Sponsors for Dirty Duck. Jerry Chastelot and Joey Gratton on board. St. Petersburg skyline, and of course going by the pier with spectators enjoying this beautiful day here in St. Petersburg. Race number 1 of these national championships for the APBA. Bringing on board Dirty Duck now, so let's listen in.
Hold on, all right, Chop, go left real hard. Oh, he spun out, watch it, you're good, you're good.
I got it.
That's how much spun out, you see him?
Yeah.
We're almost there.
All right.
Left. Man, that was fun.
Let's take a wide sweeper this time.
All righty.
See if we make a better time, all right?
You got it. How about it, Johnny? Here, start turning. Be careful. Turn it.
Let's stay.
You got it?
Yep.
Left, yeah. That's good.
Keep it under 110, guys.
Too late.
It's too late. To the right. Let's go right, stay right, yeah. Watch out, be careful. To the right, we gotta pass him on the outside, here we go. Smaller boats to the inside. Just stay to the right a little bit. No, it's to the right. All right, go sweep it now, go ahead.
You just heard a little while ago that they said they went over 110 miles an hour. Now, they're not supposed to do that in their respective class, which is P1. They did that, not seeming to worry about it, because they're basically using this first race as a test session. The real race is tomorrow. Everyone has a GPS on board, so they're being monitored on their speed. And if any boat goes above that speed that they're designated in that class, they are disqualified from that class. All right, there's another P1 boat, White Knuckles, a 36-foot skater, Mercury-powered, with 2 500-horsepower Mercury inboards. Troy Wood, the driver. John Trotto, the throttle man. Currently in second place in points in P1 class, and a third place in Sarasota, a fourth in Milwaukee, and a fourth in Daytona. Sponsors include Hyannis Collision, White Knuckles Racing. As we were saying before, that some of these teams are really not concerned about being disqualified, because a lot of Supercat light teams are using this race as a test run for tomorrow's race. Agitator on the outside, P1 class, Agitator and White Knuckles. Troy Wood and John Trotto on board White Knuckles. Lots and lots of spectator boats here in St. Petersburg for these national championships. Getting a great view of this race. Race number 1. We'll have another one this afternoon and 2 more tomorrow. Around the turn, White Knuckles. Going by the pier. Kinetic animation on the inside. White Knuckles going by. Traffic light on the outside. White Knuckles moving up. Callan Marine there on the outside. Callan Marine. 5,000 horsepower of turbine horsepower. And we're going to go now with Callan Marine. A 48-foot tank carrier. David Callan, the driver. John Kosker, the throttle man. They're from Port Orange, Florida. Took first place in St. Cloud earlier this year. All right, now we're having a little trouble staying with Callan. That's because its top speed recorded to date has been 206.7 miles per hour. This boat has gone over 200 miles per hour more than a dozen times. A lot of power in those turbines. Just listen to those motors. Just listen to those power plants. Around the turn. You're watching the 2003 APBA St. Petersburg National Championships. Back to a helicopter shot. Callan Marine just shot out of a cannon, just cranking around this course. All right, there is Team ATC and Obsession battling in P2 class. Obsession on the right side, ATC on the left. Harry Clack is the driver and Gary Ballou, the throttle man, aboard ATC. Obsession on the outside is Harry Turner and Daniel Dropsky, the throttle man. Bob Bowman, the navigator. Three-man crew aboard Obsession Racing Team. As we see on the inside is ATC. They're battling in P2 class. ATC, your Southeast Division champs. Also 2003 GMC Pro Grade High Points champions. And if they continue on their path right now, they will be your 2003 national champions. Special thanks to the crew over at ATC for their support this season, and also to Satellite Accessories for their sponsorship and support, and also GCOffshore.com. Special thanks to crew member Mark Antone. There we go on board Obsession.
Stay close to the buoy, Harry. Stay on that buoy. We'll cut him off. There you go. That close. A gradual turn. Gradual turn. Stay in the good water. Watch it. Watch it. Harry, get it rocking. Harry, turn the... Go ahead. Stay. Hold that thing straight, will you? Harry, get in the water. Out of this. All right.
Harry Turner in the middle.
Buoys to your left a little here. Yep, I see it. I see it. Head on the pin. Head that pin.
Daniel Dropsky on the right. Bob Bowman, the navigator, on the left.
Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. Harry, what? You're driving. Get on the steer. Drives up again. No, I don't. Touch the drives. They're up the line. Watch it, Harry. Watch it. It's Harry. We're both together. Hold it. Back it up. Watch it. Watch it. Back it up. Neely. Fucking. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let it go. Right there. Keep that thing down right there. Harry, start cutting over to the left a little bit. Left. Left. Watch it. Watch it. Left. Left. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. Easy, easy. Left. Go ahead. Turn it easy, Harry. Turn it easy.
All right, back to a helicopter shot. Obsession and ATC in a battle in P2. Obsession on the outside. Harry Turner, Daniel Dropsky, and Robert Bowman. It's a 37-foot outer limits, 1,600 horsepower, MRD powered. Currently in third place in the national point standings. ATC, though, is in first place right now. And if it continues, it will be your national champion. ATC in first place in P2. Other P2 boats in class include Kinetic Animation, Lucas Oil. Obsession coming up. And there it is, 37-foot outer limits. MRD powered, Harry Turner, Dan Dropsky, and Bob Bowman. Sponsors include Turner Inc., Bowman Builders, Obsession Marine, Green Pond Seafood, Seabrook Truck Center, and TLC Detailing. Flowmaster on the outside. Coming up. Flowmaster.
All right, hold it out there. Hold it down. Pull it down. All right, go, go, go. Harry, to the left a little bit. The buoy is right there. Go to the left. Go left, Harry. Okay. There you go. Now this guy's washed. There you go. Bobby just washed my Speedo. Okay. 97. 98. Hold it right there. 99.
All right, back to our helicopter shot. There is Flowmaster on the outside. Flowmaster with Todd Warner, the driver, and John Engel, the throttle man. Mercury powered. It's a skater. 40-foot skater, in fact. In PX class. There's ATC on the inside. ATC, leader in class. But Flowmaster in PX class. Other competitors in class include Bacardi Silver and Liquid Metal. Currently, Flowmaster is in second place. Kinetic animation on the inside, being passed by Flowmaster. Bacardi Silver in the lead in PX class. Liquid Metal in third. Flowmaster in second place. Lots and lots of spectator boats in the background here for these national championships in St. Petersburg. 4 races in all, some 90 competitors. Race number 1 you're watching right now. Race number 2 this afternoon. Around the turn. There's kinetic animation on the outside going by the pier. Kinetic animation. Mark Hanna, the driver. Ryan Beckley, the throttle man. Powered by two 2.5 EFIs. Currently in second place in the national point standings. Now the sponsors for the season include ExtremeFriends.com, Offshore Concepts, Colabella Performance, Mercury Racing, Freeze Frame Video, Yellowfin Yachts, Latham Marine Prop Pack, Premier Performance Interiors, and P1 Motorsports. Now the sponsors for this particular race here, these national championships in St. Petersburg. Special thanks to everyone at Florida Graphic Supply. Also, they are your one-stop for all your sign-making machines and supplies. And www.fgsi.com. Special thanks to all of our sponsors. Without your help, we couldn't do it. Kinetic Animation's 2003 teams include Dirty Duck, Spider-Man, Incontent, Miccosukee Indian Gaming, Fury, Screamin' Eagle, The Switch, Tommy Bahama, Nemshoff, Fisher Racing, Donzi, J.E.M. Briowski, WHM Motorsports, In Motion Again, White Knuckles, DeSantis Chevrolet, Rum Jumpy, Virgin, High Noon, H2O Motorsports, Propco, Team TKO, Merlin Marine, Full Yellow Jacket. We're on board now, Kinetic Animation. For all your vinyl needs, Kinetic Animation. Now, Mark Hanna's wife, Roxy, will be throttling this afternoon in White Typhoon. Let's listen. On board Kinetic Animation with Mark Hanna, the driver, Ryan Beckley, the throttle man, doing a great job. Now, Mark is from Orlando, Florida. Ryan from Bradenton, Florida. Currently in second place in the national point standings. They took a second in Fort Lauderdale and third in Milwaukee. Second in Sarasota as well. Now, Ryan Beckley, the throttle man, will be in Screamin' Eagle this afternoon. Spectator votes lining the course. All right, coming up, Cancun Cantina. John Schnorsky, the driver. Jason Moffat is the throttle man. Cancun Cantina. It's a formula. Sponsors include Cancun Cantina, Tony Tuskoff in Hanover, Maryland, Mr. Tire, Duke Henderson in Waldorf, Maryland, and Formula Racing, Dan Fellner. The brand new boat took first place in Fort Lauderdale. Cancun Cantina currently in first place in P3. Other competitors in P3 include Traffic Light, Team Fortress Offshore, Team TKO, and Wild Ride. But Cancun Cantina in first place in P3. Flowmaster on the outside. All right, Cancun Cantina will be the last boat we'll be covering for you here in race number one as race one winds down. Of course, we'll give you the final results of race number one after race two, which is coming up very shortly as we look at some of the St. Petersburg skyline here at these national championships, APBA. Beautiful day here, some white fluffy clouds and lots of sunshine. Of course, many, many spectators here to watch these national championships as we see them right there. In calm waters, making for exciting and very fast racing. And there, of course, the pier. Great vantage point to watch the race. There you see many spectators. And there, of course, the milling area, the orange smoke, telling us that race number two is just moments away. And there's your lineup in Factory 1. It's Flash Wave on the inside, Levy Craft, Offshore Addiction, Screaming Eagle, Winnebago, Typhoon, and VR1 Velocity. This is your parade lap here in race number two. Flash Wave, Levy Craft, Offshore Addiction, Screaming Eagle, Winnebago, Typhoon, and VR1 Velocity. Of course, race two includes Factory 1, P5, and one design. There's your P5 class. We've got Vixen, High Priority, Carrabba's Team Blythe, and Not Guilty. And in P4, Cast Off Racing, Marl Hazard, Mid-America Offshore, Shogun, Simply Awesome, Zero Cavity, Sonic Racing, and Wild Card, P4 and 5. P4 and 5 lineup as they begin to spread out. And there's your pace boat, offshoreonly.com. And the Factory One boats, Factory One competitors, Flash Wave, Levy Craft, Offshore Addiction, Screaming Eagle, Winnebago, Typhoon, and VR1 Velocity. They're getting ready, moments away from the green. Pace boats ready to give their sign. And of course, we've got many, many spectator boats in the background. And we've got a green flag now here at the second race in the St. Petersburg APBA National Championships. Factory One start. On the inside, there's Flash Wave, Levy Craft, Offshore Addiction, Screaming Eagle, Winnebago, Typhoon, and VR1 Velocity. And going to the immediate lead is Winnebago and Levy Craft. And there on the inside is Flash Wave. It's a Warlock Flash Wave with Glenn Wilson, the driver, Jim Sherr, the throttle man. Glenn Wilson from Orlando, Florida. Jim from Whittier, California. Flash Wave. Screaming Eagle on the outside. Screaming Eagle. There's Typhoon and Winnebago, your leaders as they go around the turn. But Flash Wave, as you can see, making up a lot of room. A lot of room. Flash Wave now on the inside. Winnebago up front, your leader. Glenn Wilson and Jim Sherr, driver and throttle man, aboard this Warlock Flash Wave. Levy Craft right on the outside. A battle here in Factory One. And there's VR1 Velocity right up front there ahead of Levy Craft. So it's VR1, Levy Craft, and Flash Wave on the inside. And Winnebago, your leader.
Take it in.
On board Flash Wave. Let's listen.
Real close. Hey. Okay, keep him out. Keep him out. We're just gonna have to make a nice turn, Jim. Yeah. Okay, this is a bad spot to be in. Just gonna have to tuck it. Here we go. Everybody see your outside. We got him in the turn.
There's our helicopter.
Nice driving, Jim.
No, beautiful, man. Let's get him better than that.
Glenn Wilson and Jim Sherr.
Okay, push him out. Okay, they got the line. I gotta give it to him.
Hold on.
Beautiful. Get ahead of it. It's real loose right now.
What's that?
The boat is loose,
Okay.
so stay ahead of it.
Just stay, just... I want to go inside, huh?
Top of the pack, Flashwave. There on the outside, Typhoon. Battle in Factory 1. Coming up, Screaming Eagle. It's a Warlock. Ryan Beckley, the driver. Alan Campbell is a throttle man. Currently in third place in the national point standings. Screaming Eagle in Factory 1 class. Ryan Beckley took a second place this morning in race number 1. Now he's back this afternoon with Screaming Eagle. Sponsors include Throttle Up Propellers, Delta Airlines, and the Florida National Guard. Screaming Eagle. Race number 2 here at these national championships in St. Petersburg. Ryan Beckley and Alan Campbell on board. Screaming Eagle. "29-foot Warlock." Other competitors in class include Team Levycraft, Typhoon, Velocity VR1, and Winnebago. There's Castoff on the outside. Offshore Addiction on the inside. Offshore Addiction is a 28-foot Warlock. Scott Begovich is the driver. Thomas Chesley is the throttle man. Currently in 5th place in the national point standings in Factory 1. Sponsors include Addictive Water Sports, ZEI, Mr. Maintenance, and Kid Wish Network. South Bay Tents, Accurate Auto Tint and Signs. Took a 3rd place in St. Cloud, Offshore Addiction. Race number 2 of these national championships in St. Petersburg. We've got Factory 1, P4, and P5 in the one design class. Some 90 competitors in all in these championships here in 2 days of racing.
Stay behind that big boat. Let him cut the water. In the middle of his wake. How's our temperature? Good? Yeah, very good. Stay in his wake. Stay in
side. Can't do it. I got a guy right on my left side.
Get back in his way.
All right, back to the helicopter shot. There is Wild Card and Sonic going around the turn at B4. Wild Card and Sonic. There's Sonic on the inside, Sonic Racing, Wild Card on the outside, and in the middle, Offshore Diction. So it's Sonic Offshore and Wild Card on the outside. Sonic's a 35-foot Sonic, Mercury powered. Patrick Picaz is the driver, and Dennis Hennessy is the throttle man. Sonic Racing sponsors include Sonic USA High Performance, Pleasure Boats, and also GG Provisions, a wholesale food distributor. Sonic Racing currently in first place in the national point standings. Took a first place in Sarasota, first in Milwaukee, a third in Savannah, first in Marathon, and a first in Daytona, as well as a first in Fort Lauderdale. Sonic Racing will be your national champion in V4. On the outside, there is Wild Card. Also in P4. William Rose and Lazaro Fonseca on board Wild Card. Now, special thanks to family and friends for their support and understanding through this racing season. We look forward to next year's season with great excitement. The team would like to thank the owner, Amanda Ross, for her leadership role this year. We cannot have had a successful year without team members like Frank Cruz, G. Martinez, Emilio Prieto, Mario Perez, and Lazaro Tomato Fonseca, and Willie Lorenzo. Thank you all very much for your hard work. That's from the Wild Card Racing team. Sponsors include E&E Repair Center, Throttle Up Propellers, Guardado Marine, Genpro Transportation, and Pat Musi Racing Engines. A little rock and roll there, Wild Card. Currently in second place in class, P4. Race number 2 here in St. Petersburg for these APBA National Championships. Wild Card took a third place in Daytona. round the turn. They're simply awesome in P5. Trent Wyatt is the driver and Bruce Seroff is the throttle man. Sponsors include Progressive Architectural Woodworking, Santos Italian Deli, Standout Graphics, and What's Up Racing. Other competitors in P4, Moral Hazard, Mid-America Offshore, Shogun, Zero Cavity, Sonic Racing, Wildcard, and Cast Off Racing. Right now, Simply Awesome. Top of the pack in P4. Nice driving there by Trent Wyatt, throttle man Bruce Seroff. Trent from Melbourne, Florida, Bruce from Union, New Jersey. On board, Simply Awesome. Beautiful day here in St. Petersburg. Watching Trent Wayne and Bruce Seroff aboard Simply Awesome, a Panthera. National Championships here in St. Petersburg. APBA. Heading towards the pier. Coming up now is Zero Cavity in P4. Zero Cavity. Jeff Lauer is the driver. Enrique Ochoa, the throttle man from Florida, took a third place in Fort Lauderdale. It's a Rindle powerboat. Zero Cavity competitors include Shogun, Mid-America Offshore, Moral Hazard, Sonic Racing, Wildcard, and Cast Off Racing. That's Simply Awesome, which we saw just a little while ago. You're watching race number 2 here at the 2003 St. Petersburg APBA National Championships on this beautiful sunny day here in St. Petersburg. Great day for a race. There is Max Q Racing. It's a Rheingold Powerboat. Tim Haynes and Rick Young aboard. Tim the driver, Rick the throttle man. Tim from Sacramento, California, Rick from Folsom, California. They are in first place in class. They raced one of these Rheingold Powerboats in California, and they did very, very well. Currently in first place in class, Max Q Racing in the one design class. Other boats include White Typhoon, American Express, Premier Performance, and Cavallaro Motorsports. One design class. Wild card on the outside. Nice driving there by Tim Haynes, Rick Young, the throttle man. On board Max Q Racing. Great shot here on board the hull here of Max Q Racing. White Typhoon there on the left side. White Typhoon, a Rheingold Powerboat as well. Berto Schmidt and Roxy Hanna on board White Typhoon. Vector helicopter shot, Max Q Racing. Tim Haynes and Rick Young. Screaming Eagle on the outside. We're going to go with White Typhoon now. Berto Schmidt is the driver, Roxy Hanna the throttle person. It's a Rheingold Powerboat. In the one design class. Now this is a boat that was raced solo by fertile CMDR Solo Schmidt at the Lauderdale race. At the St. Pete race, the boat was to be throttled by Factory One world champion Randy Schluss and driven by Berto Schmidt. At the end of the St. Pete drivers meeting, it was announced that F1 and one design would be in the same race number 2 on Saturday. The throttle position was empty again. In the hotel hall, the Benoit Roxilla Hanna, the wife of P2 driver Mark Hanna, applied for the throttling job and was signed on the spot 18 hours before the race. Now, because the wet pits were closed on Saturday morning, there was no time for testing. Roxy Hanna entered the national championship race, the Pro Grade Series, with exactly 0 hours seat time in a bat boat, White Typhoon, commonly referred to as the Purple Schmerple. Had no chance against bat number 6, driven by Tim Hayes and throttled by Rick Young. But the battle was on between Purple Schmerple and the highly favored Green American Express boat number 1. It was deck-to-deck racing until the end, masterfully throttled by Roxilla, who had become one with boat and driver after just one lap. Purple Schmerple beat American Express for the number 2 finish. And they are number 2 right now. A Purple Schmerple. There it is. Special thanks to Mark Hanna for donating his wife Roxy to a great cause. And the team thanks to Volkswagen Service and Citibank for making this race possible. In second place in the one design class, White Typhoon with Bertel Schmidt and Roxy Hanna. In second place in one design, White Typhoon. All right, back for a helicopter shot, White Typhoon. Roxy doing a great job on throttle. All right, coming up, American Express, another rival Powerboat. Mike Emmerich is the driver, Robert Goodwin the throttle man. Mike from Worthington, Ohio, Robert from Fort Thomas, Kentucky. Currently in second place in the national point standings, took a first place in Sarasota earlier this season. American Express, the Green Bat Boat, as it's called. American Express currently in third place in the one design class. Other competitors, we've got Cavallaro from Air Performance, and Max School Racing is in first place right now. White Typhoon in second, American Express in third. Offshore Addiction on the outside. Nice driving there by Mike Emmerich. Bob Goodwin the front one. Currently in third in the one design class. we've just heard on the radio that apparently the Flash Wave Racing boat has thrown one of the crew members out of the boat. And we understand that it is crew member Jim Sherrod, the throttleman. So they're
Here we go.
Let's see that now. We're on the Flash Wave Racing boat. Let's see what happens.
Straight to town.
I don't have it yet. I think I do. I'm right on it.
Okay. Pick a lane, all right?
What's that?
Pick your lane.
Okay. We're okay, right?
Yeah, we're good. I just don't see the pin.
I got it right here. Say it left.
Okay. I'll tell you when.
Oh, they're turning tight.
All right, take it.
Shit.
Jim Sherrod out of the boat, thrown out of the boat. Glenn Wilson, of course, wondering what happened. He looks back and he sees Jim, and the Angel Rescue team is right there at the scene. On board Flash Wave, we've got an incident here. Jim Sherrod thrown out of the boat. But the Angel Rescue team is there.
Pick a lane, all right?
What's that?
Let's see that again.
Pick your lane.
Okay. We're okay, right?
Yeah, we're good. I just don't see the pin.
I got it right here. Say it left.
Okay.
There you see Jim Sherrod going out of the boat. Glenn Wilson also swaying to his right extremely, but managed to have control.
They're turning tight.
All right, take it.
There you see Jim going out, Glenn hanging onto his wheel and staying in the boat. Everyone is okay. That's the important thing.
Oh, they're turning tight.
All right, take it.
In real time, let's see it again.
Shit.
All right, everyone is okay. Now let's go back to our Max Q Racing on board. We're going to take Max Q Racing to the finish. Max Q in the lead in class. In the one design class. White Typhoon in second, American Express in third. Dramatic pictures of Flash Wave, but everyone is okay. That's the important thing. Tim Haynes and Rick Young on board Max Q Racing. It's a Rindle going to the finish as race number 2 winds down. Max Q Racing, you're a winner, getting the checkered flag in the one design class here in race number 2. Slowing down now. And that is it, the end of race number 2 here in St. Petersburg for these APBA National Championships. Tim Haynes and Rick Young on board Max Q Racing, taking it to the finish, getting a checkered flag, which they will receive in just a few moments. very shortly, we'll have the final results for you of race number 1 as well, and race number 2. There's Cast Off in the background. Cast Off, you're a winner in P4. There's the checkered flag, well-deserved checkered flag for the Max Q Racing team, number 1 in the 1 design class here in race number 2. Cast Off, their checkered flag in P4. Of course, there's the pier to the left. And the end of a day of racing here in St. Petersburg, race 1 and 2. Highly competitive racing. One incident with that Flash Wave racing team, but everyone is okay, as we saw Jim Shera being thrown out of the boat. There's the pier, great vantage point for spectators here at these national championships, and just a beautiful, gorgeous day. Sunny skies, white puffy clouds, and calm waters, making for very exciting and fast racing. Okay, in Factory 1 class, Winnebago, Red Devil in first place, followed by Velocity VR1 and Typhoon Racing in third place. Winnebago getting the checkered flag in Factory 1. In Factory 1 National Championship final points, it's Winnebago in first place, followed by Typhoon in second, and Screamin' Eagle in third. Winnebago on top, your national champion. In the PX class, Bacardi Silver in first place, followed by Flowmaster in second, and Liquid Metal in third. Bacardi Silver, the checkered flag in the PX class. And your national champion in the PX class, How Sweet It Is, followed by Bacardi Silver and Liquid Metal in third. How Sweet It Is, your national champion in PX class. In Performance Turbine, Alan Marine in first place, getting the checkered flag. In P1, American Dream in first place, followed by White Knuckles and Dirty Duck in third. American Dream, the checkered flag in P1. And your national champion in P1 class, American Dream, followed by White Knuckles and How Sweet It Is. American Dream, your national champion in Performance 1. And in P2 class, Lucas Oil coming out on top in first, followed by ATC Racing and Kinetic Animation in third place. Lucas Oil, number 1 in P2. And your national champion in P2, ATC Racing, followed by Kinetic Animation and Obsession in third place. ATC, your national champion in Performance 2. And in P3, Cancun Cantina in first, followed by Traffic Light and Sirius Racing. Cancun Cantina, checkered flag in Performance 3. And your national champion in P3, Wild Ride in first place, followed by Cancun Cantina and Team TKO. Wild Ride, your national champion in Performance 3. In P4, Cast Off Racing in first place, then Wildcard and Sonic Racing bringing up third. Cast Off Racing on top in P4. And your national champion in P4 is Sonic Racing, followed by Cast Off and Just Prey Racing. Sonic Racing in first place, your national champion in P4. In the One Design class, Max Q Racing, followed by White Typhoon and American Express. Max Q, we just saw a little while ago getting the checkered flag in One Design. And your national champion in the One Design class, Premier Performance, followed by American Express and Cavallero in third. Premier Performance, your national champion in the One Design class. Okay, those are your results for races 1 and 2, your national champions in the respective classes. Races 3 and 4 coming up tomorrow. We had great racing today. Highly competitive racing. One incident with that flash wave boat, but everyone is okay. That is the important thing. Now, before we go, there are a few people that we would like to thank. First off, our great camera team, Gary and Nancy Johnson, for doing a fine job. Of course, Mr. Russell Kilpatrick, our helicopter pilot. The entire staff of the APBA for orchestrating this fine event here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Also, special thanks goes out to Mr. Jimmy Fisher for helping us out with our onboard cameras. And a special thanks to Eve for all of her help and support. So on behalf of Jeff Girardi and the rest of the Freeze Frame Video production crew, this is Ms. Lapari wishing you a fond farewell from St. Petersburg, Florida. See you soon in Orange Beach, Alabama for the APBA World Championships. Bye, everyone.
Right.